Welcome back, Comet sports fans, to Comet Sports Talk, your place where we do recaps and previews of these Comet sports. I'm your host, Daniel Pennetti, with my co-host, Isaac Vargo. We have a lot of things in store for you today, especially an interview with defensive coordinator, Coach McCullough. Isaac, let's look back at last Friday. Comets go down 0-2, the score 20-13 to Lakota East.
Yeah, Lakota East was 0-1. Mason was 0-1 the first week of GMC matchup, and it was a battle on both sides of the ball. Mason did a great job on offense, way more improved than against Gahanna Lincoln in week 1. Ashton Schaaf particularly running the football. He's scrambling more than we thought he could. He did a great job there. On third down, the Comets did go 5 for 17, and on fourth down, they went 4 for 6. So much improved on offense. They started throwing the ball better. It looked like a more improved, more swaggy offense. But on the defensive end, Lakota East just stopped them at the end, and Comets couldn't stop the run to left.
Yeah, the Comet offense, like you said, it was Ashton Schaaf's best game as a Comet. And he did it in ways, like you said, that we weren't expecting. Had 18 carries, while some of those being sacks. Comets got sacked 3 times. That's still about 15 carries. And it looks like this Comet offense, we're starting to see that they're going to be run heavy. You know, Temi Adesanya 25 carries for about 70 yards. So we're starting to really see what this Comet offense is likely going to be doing. Flip it over to the defensive side. You look at this game, it was like a flip-flop of that Week 1 game versus Gahanna. It was the defense keeping them in Week 1 and the offense keeping them in last Friday. It's like not like the Comets had a bad game on offense. It's just there were so many just plays here and there that gave Lakota East that edge.
Yeah, especially after that punt by Kaiser Wilhelm at the 2-yard line. As a Comet fan, they were down by a couple points. You were starting to think that would be the time where they come alive. That defense has been amazing the last 2 years, but then they get that 98-yard run. Chauncey Peck had an amazing game. Ryder Hooks did come in later in that game as his first game. He didn't play in Week 1, but Chauncey Peck's done a great job of just running the ball for them, and he did get that 98-yard run, and later they got that 50-yard run. So that's kind of the killers that cost Mason.
Yeah, so you hope that, especially this week and in practice, that that's something the Comets were focusing on, is making sure that that outside can contain and not let some of those holes happen. Because unfortunately, those big runs were on that same kind of jet sweep to the left side. So you hope that that is something that the Comets definitely fix. Let's look on to this week. It's the home opener at Dwyer Field. The Highlanders come into Mason to take on the Comets in a game where this was the Comets' first win last season. It was Week 2. It was just like last week. The Comet defense played stellar. Now, obviously, a lot of those guys are graduated, guys like Kai Woolfolk and a couple more. But this Comet defense, you can't overlook what they did. They picked off Oak Hills 5 times. We like to say that it's a new quarterback this year. It's Brady Corman. But still, you have 5 interceptions, one of those being Preston Estewesta, still probably the best defensive back on this team. So the Comets, this is a chance for their defense to really bounce back from last week and have a great performance.
And yeah, Daniel, for the Comets, it's their home opener, as you said, at Dwyer Field, and it kind of feels like it's do or die for them. 0-3 would be way different than 1-2. They're facing an Oak Hills team they're very comfortable in playing. They beat them the last 10 years, 7 of those being meetings in the season. And yeah, it's a new team for Oak Hills. Brady Corman is the quarterback. And they got Max Rhodes, who was the linebacker previously. He's in that running back position, and he's starting to do a great job there. Max Rhodes on defense side, he is an amazing tackler in open field. He had 50 more tackles than anyone else last year as a sophomore. So this year they're looking at him. He's second in tackles in the GMC. So it's going to be a big matchup for the Comets. A game that they can win if they can do both sides of the ball, as we said.
Yeah, it's kind of like Temi Adesanya from last year. He started out as a linebacker, the Comets moving to running back, and they liked what they saw from him. So it's kind of the tale of same stories for this for the running backs in the team. Something we do want to point out, last week versus East, Black Hole showed out pretty well, and that makes you excited for what they're going to do tonight versus Oak Hills in this home opener, because, you know, being the home opener, they're always going to show out.
You know, the Comets are going to have the blackout going for the Black Hole, of course, and it's going to be packed to the brim. So pretty much on those third downs, Comets got to get off the field, and on those third downs they have to convert. It's felt like the last couple of games the Comets have played, it's those third downs that they have to execute on, and it's those fourth downs that they did get last game, but you're not going to get those fourth downs, it feels like, every game.
Yeah, last thing we want to mention is that this Oak Hills team gave up 350 yards on the ground versus Middletown in that loss last week. Now, Middletown, they run the ball a lot, but 350 yards is still 350 yards, and that makes you think that this could be somewhat of a breakout game for Temi Adesanya, or Ashton Chafe ran the ball so many times last week. Trevor Rose was able to go talk to the defensive coordinator for the Comets, Coach McCullough, and see how this defense can bounce back after a tough game last week. Let's take it down to Trevor.
I'm Trevor Rose here with the defense coordinator for the Mason Comets, Coach McCullough. How are you doing today?
All right, how are you, bud?
Doing all right.
Yep.
Last season's stats, looking back at it, 209 yards per game allowed by your defense. This year, over 270. What does the defense need to do to get back to last season's?
Well, first off, you have different people in different spots. And so you have some new kids because of graduation and everything. But everyone's got to get back to doing their job. And that was the thing on, last Friday night. We had some plays that didn't go our way. And it just was people just not doing their job. And so the big push this week has been getting back to the fundamentals and getting back to doing your job 100% of the time, not just sometime. And I think you get some kids that you need to step up and get it done, and you have some other kids that we're expecting to be great players for us that need to be all GMC players.
How do you plan to limit the big plays? What did you practice this week to try to limit the big plays?
Well, they do. They'll have a trick play in the back. They always do every time they play Oak Hills. It's knowing who they're trying to get the ball to for the trick play. Number one, Max Soup has been around forever. I was joking around this week. He's like on a 6-year program because I've gone against this kid since I was my time at Turpin and now here, and I just feel like he's been there forever. A very electric, elusive kid that they just find ways to get him the ball. They put him on the Wildcat. They'll run seam patterns. They'll put him in run the jet plays with him. So he's a kid that I think they're going to try to get the ball to and get an explosive play at him because it's definitely an offense that's only averaging about 150 some yards a game or whatever. So they need the big play. They need to be able to get take a shot. They need a trick play. They need something to get on top. And so that's something of knowing where those particular players are, and then also making sure we're keeping an eye on them, doing our job and staying on top.
All right. Well, that'll go ahead and be all for this week. Again, I appreciate you letting me come down here and talk to you. We'll go ahead and send it back to Isaac and Daniel.
That's going to do it for this third episode of Comet Sports Talk. We want to thank you guys for watching these few weeks that we've had so far, and we're just getting started, just like this Comet football team. I've been Daniel Pennetti here with Isaac Vargo. Big thanks to Owen Hurley as well for giving us this video footage, as well as Trevor Rose for supplying the interview.